Hi kindergarten friends! So today I'm going to tell you all about fairies and fairy houses. So I recently saw a video learning that one thing you can do outside is build fairy houses. Because fairies are so small, they have a hard time building houses for themselves. So sometimes it's nice for humans like us to go build houses for them. So I'm going to teach you some things about building houses for fairies, and then I'm going to show you how to write a note for a fairy. Okay, we're outside looking for a good tree and sticks to make a fairy house with. Ooh, yeah, there's some good sticks over here. I don't know if we built the fairy house here, it'll be too close to the ducks and the geese. So we should try to build it over there so they'll be safe. The fairies will be safe from the ducks and geese. Make sure that when you go out to build a fairy house, you take a partner with you. So I'm taking my friend Mrs. DeRozier, who I told you guys about before. I'm bringing her with me. That way you always have a buddy system. So make sure that you take a family member with you or a friend. You brought her straight up gloves. You have to always be prepared everywhere you go. Okay, so for a fairy house, we're gonna use some sticks, some leaves, and maybe some pine cones of some sort. So notice that I just said I'm going to use things like sticks and leaves. And that's because fairies don't like houses that have things that are man-made. So things that are man-made are things that you might find in your house, like plastic or containers. Fairies, they only like things that are from nature. So sticks, leaves, rocks, all those things that you find outside that aren't from humans, those are all good things to build a fairy house with. So this is going to be way too big of a house because fairies are small. So we need to make this. Okay. Have a parent or a family member help me break the sticks. So notice how I am only using branches and sticks that I already found on the ground. I'm not tearing any off of trees. I'm only using branches that are already dead off the ground because fairies would be sad if they thought that I was taking a branch off of a tree. So when you go out to make your fairy houses, make sure to look for things that are already on the ground. Okay. So I'm thinking like a log cabin sort. That will be nice and cozy. And we need a leaf. This can be the fairy's bed. And the fairy might have a friend, might have a sleepover, so let's put another bed just in case. Social distancing. And we also need to have decorations so that they will want to come to the fairy house. So I'm going to put this little decoration here. And then we need some protection on top in case the ducks or the geese come up from the pond. That way the fairies will still be safe. So let's see, we need to kind of disguise it. This is called camouflage. So that was the first fairy house that I made, but you don't have to only make one fairy house. You can make a ton of fairy houses because there's a lot of fairies out there. So I'm going to make even more than one fairy house. That way, in case a lot of fairies come, they all have places to live. Okay, this seems much safer. Oh, this right here is a perfect house. They have a giant chimney, so in case they need to escape, they can go up that way. Okay. Put the tree up. Put some camouflage. Camouflage. And there it is. So now we'll have to come back and check on it later and see if any fairies. So fairies are really small, and so they like really small notes. That way it's easier for them to read. So that's just fairies. I like big notes because I'm an adult, so I like big notes that are easier to read, but fairies like little notes. So I cut this little piece of paper out so I can write a fairy a note for the fairies that come to live in the house I just made. I also heard that fairies like lots of different colors. So I got a bunch of different colors of pens. You could use crayons or markers or just pencil if you want. And now I'm going to think of something to write to the fairy that lives in my house. I think I need to start it like Dear Fairy because that's how most letters are started. So I'm going to go ahead and write Dear Fairy, and I'm going to use my sound power to sound it out. deer, deer, da, ear. Dear fairy, fairy, dear fairy. And remember, fairies aren't going to be mad if we spell things not the right way. All that matters is that they can read it, because that's the most important thing about writing, is that the other person can read it. So I wrote dear fairy, just like how it sounds. Dear fairy, I think I'm going to say, I hope you enjoy this house. I hope you, that's a snap word, so I don't even need to sound it out. I can just write Y-O-U. I hope you enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I hope you enjoy the snap word, house. So just a reminder, words that we didn't know, that we didn't learn yet, I sounded them out. And wrote them the best I could. And then words that were snap words, I wrote them just from memory. I didn't even have to slow down on those ones. Dear fairy, I hope you enjoy the house. I worked really hard on it. I worked really hard on it. Love your friend. Okay, let's check it. Dear fairy, I hope you enjoy the house. I worked really hard on it. Love your friend. So now I'm checking. Did I leave spaces? Yep. Did I put a capital at the beginning of the sentence? Yep. Did I put punctuation? Yep. Did I write all the sounds I heard? Yep. Did I check for my snap words and write them the right way? Yep. Does it look easy to read? Yep. So my note is ready to go, and I'm going to go hang it up now. So fairies are actually super, super smart. And they can read, but also they can figure out where notes are left for them because they have that magic skills. They can't really build houses for themselves because they're too small to move sticks, but they can read this. And I don't want to put it like on the house because then if it gets windy, I don't want my note to blow away. So I'm just going to put it on my window. And I just built the house for them right over there outside. And so the fairy will know to come read this note. So I'm going to leave it here for the fairy. So just to recap, and a recap means kind of like a summary, like you're telling what just happened across your fingers. Just to recap, today you learned how to make fairy houses outside for fairies. And you learned that you're going to need to be outside. You're going to need sticks and things that you find in nature that are already on the ground. And you're going to need a family member or somebody to help you break sticks that are already on the ground into smaller sticks in case you need them smaller. You also learned what the word camouflage means, which means to hide things. It means something blends in. So we used leaves to camouflage our house to make it blend in so other people or other animals couldn't see it. And you also learned that you can write little notes to the fairies so that they can read them when they come and see their new house. And you also learned to put those like attached to your own house, not to the fairies' house. That way they don't blow away in the wind. So I hope that you learned a lot, and I hope that you're going to go make some of your own fairy houses. Thanks for watching.